Hey guys, this is Video Bob, and this is my ambulance camper conversion and matching trailer. Today's video is going to be sort of a manual for the new owner who just bought this, and for those of you that are interested in van conversions, you might enjoy this. Stay tuned. Okay, I've talked about this in other videos, but like I said, this is going to be a manual for the new owner, and for those of you that liked this kind of content, you're going to enjoy this. So this is a 2010 International 4300 Horton ambulance conversion that I bought from a guy who got it at an auction. It used to belong to the Fall River, Massachusetts dive rescue team. The truck itself, I'm not going to talk about the truck too much about itself because you can learn about the truck. Basically, the truck has a capacity of about 20, I think it's about 20,000 pounds. It weighs 15,000 pounds, can haul about 60,000 pounds. We took this 2000 year American Pace car race trailer and paint matched it. I went and got the same ambulance paint. So if you need to touch it up, color code of the ambulance is on there, and made the matching trailer. We'll just go through a few things on the truck. I mean, you can talk to an international dealer or Horton ambulances about most of the stuff on there. So I'm not going to talk about all the aspects of the truck, but we're just going to go through a couple of things. The seat is air powered, raises up and down this way. Also has lumbar support, so it's a spring assisted seat with tilt steering. These couple of switches here are custom. This would normally operate snow chains, but I have it actuated to, since there's no snow chains and we're in Vegas, it is the fan override. You have a clutch fan that goes into full speed when it's hot. Because it's Vegas, I put in this switch so that will allow you to run the fan at full blast. Headlight switch, panel brightness adjustment, mirror switch turns on the defroster for the mirrors. Standard door window controls. The windows have been tinted with ceramic tint for UV protection. On the wheel you have the air horn. I'm not going to press because it's very, very loud. Don't press that unless you really mean to. Cruise on and off, cruise set. Let me drop this up the wheel so you can see the dash. Standard gauges, nothing new here. Parked regen, things like that. We did put in, when you first turn it on, you'll hear the electric air compressor come on. This is hydraulic over air. So you have air parking brake, but hydraulic brakes. You do not need a special license to drive this. Have this custom Sony stereo installed with Apple CarPlay. This remote here operates the camera system, lets you cycle through the cameras, the top-down view, the out the side right view, and then the hitch view, and you can go through those, and then the trailer view. This is a radio that we do not use. It can be programmed for different frequencies. This is the siren, do not use. This is custom trailer brakes. This operates your trailer brakes, which has a little reed there, tells you how they're working. You can see they're actuating the brake lights. This is a flashlight that firemen would use. Back here is the valve that opens and closes the dump valve for the toilet. When you open it, when you press this, it opens. You see the light flashes to tell you it's open, and that closes it. So when the light's not flashing, it's closed. This is just storage. And that's pretty much the whole thing. There's not much going on in here. It's just an industrial truck. You can learn all about your parked regen for your particulate filter and, you know, standard park drive. Just regular old foot pedals and things. Nothing special in here. One switch here is for suspension and dump. So dump means you drop the rear end, you hit this, the whole truck lowers. And then you hit suspension and it raises back up again. You're going to hear the air compressor come on in just a second. It has an electric air compressor, but it also has an engine air compressor. Now, looking around the outside of the truck, this is a storage cabinet that would normally hold the oxygen, but now there's nothing in there. You use it for whatever you want. This is where you plug in your 110 volt, 20 amp power supply. Let me see. Well, I'll get into this, I guess. So this is just some spare parts we're giving to the new owner. Inside here is a Xantrex 3000 inverter charger. Power comes in through here, and this charges these 4 200 amp lithium iron phosphate batteries. These feed in return the Xantrex, which runs electricity through this breaker and into the system. Great thing about an ambulance is it's already wired for electricity, and they normally come with an inverter, usually only about 1,000 watts. These are fire suppression balls. These will explode if caught on fire. I just lay them on top of the battery, so if the battery catches on fire, those will hopefully put it out. That's that air compressor I was just telling you about. There's a central locking system. There's one remote that will lock all of the cabinets at the same time, which is fantastic. This cabinet houses the external unit of the air conditioner. And that's the outside unit of the mini split air conditioner, and it is cooling right now. There's plenty of room in here for a shelf. You know what? I didn't go through the controls of the ambulance on the inside. I know I'm backtracking, and most of this you don't need to know about, but I figure I might as well mention it since I have the key running. You have what's called module disconnect. If you press this, let me turn this off. I'm kind of backtracking here. There is this switch down here. I don't know if you can see it. That does a total cut. That cuts off everything. So when you want to kill the truck, you can flip that switch and everything will go dead. This module turns itself off after a few minutes if the vehicle's not running. That's why I needed to reset it. This module disconnect turns things on or off. That turns off everything. You have your master lights here, which this operates all of the flashing lights. Let me turn them all on. Let me just go ahead and turn on, well, some of these don't work anymore because they're disconnected. And we're only running on battery, but let me turn everything on. Let's see. I'm gonna turn on every single freaking light in this whole rig. What do you think? All right. There it is. It is a fully functional ambulance. Now, all of these front forward lights are clear, making them legal. You're not allowed to have any front forward facing red lights, but they're clear. Now, you can't turn those lights on. You can see the lights flashing. You have blue and red, you have red and strobe. All of these are on. Now, let's turn these off before we cause a spectacle. People are gonna wonder what's going on. I'm on private property, so I can run these lights on private property, but you cannot run them on the legal street. Okay, let's see this box here. It has a sliding tray with a light. You'll notice that when the module is on, whenever you open a door, like this door for the bathroom, the lights come on inside. I have the rear loading lights on. Those also come on while in reverse. Let's go back around to where these cabinets are real quick. These headlights are new. So when the module's on, the lights will come on inside here. As you see, lighting. This is all custom work done back here for the hitch. All this hitch is all custom because ambulances don't come with hitches. But this hitch is custom built. Camera here, camera up there. We added these loading lights, added this box that holds the camera equipment. We'll talk about the trailer a little bit. You have a drop leg jack here on a powered extension that's powered with a light, working light. We welded this custom Bulldog hitch onto here, and the trailer's pretty amazing. There's not much to talk about with the trailer. We paint matched it, put on this stripe. We welded on some drag wheels, casters on the back. Pretty simple. You turn these, thing drops, load a car, whatever you want in there. Have loading lights back here that come on when reversed. All these Goodyear Assurance tires are new. Even though these matching lights are put there, they're not actually functioning at the moment. Those haven't been hooked up. Inside you have basically a Badlands winch and controller. Lots of tie downs and E-track. I'm sorry it's dark in here, I don't have the lights on. If this was plugged in and powered, you'd have electric lights and things. So you could plug this into the ambulance or a generator. But it has a battery and its own solar panel system. Oops. Okay. And the solar panel will charge it. All right. This is your fill valve for your fresh water. Just hook a water hose up to that, fill it. As far as the outside, this is your 50-gallon fuel tank you fill there. And then the engine batteries are here for the truck. These have nothing to do with, you know, the rest of the vehicle. These are on a slider, but that's, I mean, those are for the truck itself, not the stuff inside. Now, I failed to mention in here when I looked in here that, see that switch there? This switch separates the power coming from the truck to the batteries. When you're driving down the road and this is on green, the truck is putting 12 volts into the batteries through the battery management system. When you turn that off, it's no longer feeding from the truck. So when you park overnight, you want to have that off so that you're not accidentally using the truck batteries. But while it's running, I have that going, and the charger will charge all the batteries, including the truck batteries. Let's step inside. You'll notice there's a power step with it we added. Pops out for easy entry. Fire extinguisher. This button turns on these fluorescent lights, which are on a 15-minute timer. Lots of storage. Electrical outlets in there. Behind this panel are relay modules, timer modules, things you'll probably never need to get to. More of the same in there. Storage of things. Nice little drawer, just lots of storage. This seat can slide forward and the whole thing unbolts and folds forward. Underneath that is the access to the air conditioning and heating for back here while the engine is running. Here's the bed. Underneath the bed is the fresh water tank system and pumps. There is a 12-volt switch here that turns the pumps on and off for water. You have about, I think it's 25 gallons of water. Okay, I normally keep that off, although it is self-pressurized operating. You have a 12-volt connection there, electrical connection there. Just more storage. This is your mini split air conditioner. You'll see that it's completely quiet. All the windows have been blacked out. Here's the toilet, which is in this closet here, and it's electronically actuated, as I've demonstrated before. This button fills. This button flushes. This button does both fill and flush. I don't know why they have it set up that way, but sometimes if you're just going to have a pee, you know, you just hit that one button, and then before you have a big dump, you can fill it full of water and then flush it separate. This little light here has a timer on it, like, you know, a few minutes or whatever, and it turns on this little battery operated overhead light. You'll have to take this off and replace the batteries in it once in a while. The television is just a TV with a sound bar. What I usually do is carry a hotspot with me, and I think the batteries are dead on this remote. Oh, there we go. Now it's working. So I just always carried a hotspot or used my iPad, and I would watch TV on there. That's pretty simple. Microwave, self-explanatory. Latches on the fridge. Fridge is bolted down. This is a nice little trash can from IKEA. It just sits there. Carbon monoxide alarm, just in case you ever need that. Some of the ambulance stuff is still here. This is the controller for the Xantrex. I haven't mounted it yet. I just have it sitting here. When it's plugged in, it's on pass-through. But you can see the lighted electrical outlets show that they're active. And this needs to just be mounted into the wall. I just haven't done it. I just kind of like it like that. Here's the remote for the air conditioner. I just got to set it 85. Now, let's talk about this right here. We added this as a keyless engine override system. If you're sitting back here, just woke up, you want to warm up the truck or whatever, this turns on the ignition. As you can hear the air pump running, this starts the truck. How cool is that? So this thing's wired directly into the ignition, bypasses the key and security system. So when you're back here, you can start the truck and let it idle, warm up, cool down, whatever it is you prefer. When that's on, your module is active. So you can turn on the various lights in here, the dimmer module, fluorescence. There's a lot of lights in here. This controls the backlight. You can check your patient status. It's green. You have oxygen, vacuum, this little light here, stopwatch, things like that. Things you're not gonna need unless you're doing ambulance stuff. This is your air conditioning control, heat, cool, auto, set your temperature to, oh, that's up, let's go down. Set it to 65. Okay. You have fan speed. Well, it's on, I have to put on manual to do that. Okay, auto. Let me turn that off. Then you have a power vent. That's what these vents are up there. That gets the exhaust out of here. You know, you're having a poop, something stinky. No, you can just vent it out. So the vacuum and the oxygen system's been removed. So don't worry about that. When you're ready to turn off the truck, you just turn it off. Simple as that. Now these lights, this module will turn itself off after a few minutes of not having the ignition on. And these other fluorescents are on a 15-minute timer as well. Now, of course, I'm on my local network here, so the TV works great. And you can, you know, so I recommend just carrying a hotspot with you. I use an iPad or an iPhone, and you can just, you know, watch TV over internet that way. And you can see the air conditioner in this thing is totally quiet. Now this one little bar light here is AC powered. It runs off the inverter. Other than that, these other lights run off of the truck batteries. That's why they're on a timer and they shut off. I installed this stainless steel shelf here. I just thought it kind of met the theme. It's stainless steel. The sink, I think I ordered online. It's a nice little basin. This I got from IKEA. And when you turn on the pump, it doesn't automatically turn the pump on unless it's being used. When it detects a pressure drop, it starts running. And so you have enough water, you could just run this for quite a while. But that wouldn't be smart. You'll notice air coming up through the toilet as it vents, because they share a vent pipe. But there's a natural P-trap here that won't allow any gas to come back up through there. That's pretty much the whole thing. It's pretty simple. When I park, I usually set it down on its chassis so that it doesn't wobble. I mean, it doesn't wobble. It does a little bit. If there's some wind, you can see, you probably can't tell this on camera, but it wobbles a little bit. But when I set it down on its wheels, it is solid as a rock. You drop it down. When you open the doors, when the module's on, these lights will come on. But if the module's been turned off, these won't come on. It's nice and dark out here now. I wanted to do this kind of at night because it's so much cooler with the lights on. The engine is a DT466 Max Force engine. You can learn all about that from looking up a 2010 International 4300 Durstar. It can be serviced by Durstar or by International or Freightliner, its parent company. And, you know, it's just kind of a regular truck. But this is the perfect van life camper, car hauler, hot shotter, whatever you want to call it. Truck's capable of hauling as much as 60,000 pounds, but it's governed. It'll only go about 65 or 70 miles an hour. But it'll do that all day long for millions of miles. These trucks aren't made for speed, they're made for endurance and durability. And that I recommend that when you're buying, when you want to do this kind of conversion, go for a fire department vehicle. Fire department vehicles are kept indoors and well taken care of. They're only used when they're on call. They don't sit around idling in parking lots like a ambulance would that's used for, you know, the hospital. These are on call, you know, they don't have as many miles and hours on them. But after 10 years, they typically will swap out their trucks. You can still see a little bit on there where it says Fall River Fire Department. There's nothing on this truck that says emergency, the Star of Life, ambulance, nothing like that. It's totally legal. It's just a red truck with clear lenses on the front. So people ask me all the time, you know, how is this legal that you're driving an ambulance? I'm just driving a red truck. It's a red truck that does not require a Class A license because it has hydraulic brakes. It has clear lenses in the front. There are no red forward-facing lights or blue lights of any kind. It's perfectly legal to drive this. And, you know, people think it's probably an emergency vehicle. They get the hell out of your way. Nobody's going to mess with you when you park in this thing. This is the perfect van life vehicle. Now, I did not set this up with solar panels on top because it just wasn't necessary. Because I don't live in it. It charges while I'm driving, and then I only have to sleep in it overnight. And the batteries will last overnight. You know, running the air conditioner, watching TV, all that stuff, it'll work. Trailer, paint matching it. It just looks like some sort of emergency vehicle trailer, which is great for what these guys are going to be using it for. We put the matching reflective stripe tape on the back. I have another roll of it in there so they can keep adding on to it. I just haven't finished it. I have another roll of this too. We just never put it on the other side. New tires, new bearings, new everything. This trailer was completely refurbished. It's only got a couple thousand miles on it, honestly. Less than 5. This tail light has been giving me trouble. It's got a bad connection and needs to be replaced. Yep, see. It just needs to be taken out and cleaned. Probably got a bad solder connection, but these lights are only like 200 bucks. This needs to be replaced. But honestly, if you just whack it once in a while, it's fine. It'll stay on. Usually when it's running, it doesn't bother. Yeah, we cleaned all these lenses. We did so much work to this thing. This custom hitch, everybody asked me about the hitch. You cannot just buy a hitch for this thing. We had to make it. We basically bought a Kurt hitch and made our own plates, welded it to the frame, rewired everything. And this whole trailer has been completely rewired. Put this little tongue box on there. Has a small solar panel up on top that feeds its own battery system. So even when this trailer is not connected to the truck, it has its own electrical system that you can use the jack and the winch and all those things. All right, I think that's pretty much it. This is kind of a long video, but I think that for the new owners, they can refer to this video whenever they want information about the truck. Turn the lights off. Take the keys out. But other than that, make sure I turned it off. There we go. That's why it has that kill switch. There it is. So that's my van life ambulance. Hope you enjoyed this video out there if you're a van lifer. I don't live in these vehicles, but I've been building custom cars and custom trucks and vans for a long time. I started off my custom building career in the late 90s. I used to build mobile production video and news trucks. I did a number of those out of Ford vans, Sprinter vans. So I had some experience in this in the past. And I think the last one I did was probably 2004. And then I started doing the custom cars. So if you're new to my channel, I do the DeLorean Time Machine and Knight Rider and Ghostbusters and things like that. Those are the kind of things I'll do. So if this is your first time watching, I'll give you a quick tour inside the shop. But there's a lot of you out there that are big into the van life thing, that are interested in living in Sprinter vans or, you know, U-Hauls or whatever. I punched in the wrong code. Okay, sorry. Let me show you a tour of the shop. Shop's a mess, you know, but you want a hat. So yeah, we build things like the DeLorean Time Machine here. As you can see, Knight Rider, things like that. Ghostbusters, that's my Cadillac from Scarface. Car's all dirty because we're waiting on parts for it. But this is the kind of stuff that we do. That being said, if you want a DeLorean Time Machine, call me. I can hook you up. But don't call me and ask me to build you a one of these ambulances or vans. I don't know where to get one. I don't know how to build, you know, good luck. You're on your own. If you find one in an auction, just to give you an idea, I think I bought the truck itself for like 10,000 bucks. I guess I should have went through that earlier in the video. Cost several thousands of dollars to have it transported. I spent easily $5,000 just in the battery and inverters alone. I'd say I put about 10 or 15,000 bucks just into the truck, just general maintenance, the conversion, all the different things we did. The trailer, I easily put another 10 or whatever thousand. So I probably spent, I mean, 45, 50,000 bucks on the whole project. And then I sold it for about the same amount of money. So I broke even on it. I didn't really make anything on it. And that's what it costs to do one of these. So if, you know, if this is your alternative, if you say, oh, I'm just gonna go live in my van, in my ambulance, be prepared. You bet it's gonna cost you a lot of money. It's not free. So that's the ins and outs of this thing. Just in case you were wondering, there it is. Thanks so much for watching. Catch you guys later. Bye-bye. Video Bob.